Hey everyone, it's Connor Mitchell, head whiz of Dragon Rider Network. Last week, Elon Musk and the folks at Tesla began rolling out their newest electric car, the Model 3, a $35,000 electric car with a 220-mile range, 310 with the battery upgrade, and an interior that looks more like J.J. Abrams' USS Enterprise than a sedan. This is a car that many have been looking forward to as the moderately priced electric supercar from Tesla. But aside from the fact that you can max out this car for only $60,000 compared to the $70,000 for the low-end Model S, there is so much more to be excited about when it comes to this release. And I'm here to break it down into 3 key points. So anyway, let's get into it. Key point number 1. The electric car is here to stay. Now, the transition from gasoline-powered cars to electric cars might seem like a logical progression for people like me who are just now getting interested in either buying a car or getting interested in figuring out what cars do. But it wasn't too long ago that it seemed like the idea of a fully electric car would never become a reality. Back in the 90s, electric cars were attempted by GM and several other car companies, but were recalled, destroyed, and forgotten by the mid-2000s. It was around this time Elon Musk set forth on his 3-step master plan to create a fleet of cars that are capable of running on sustainable energy. The first step being the Tesla Roadster, a super expensive sports car that was fully electric. The second step being the Tesla Model S and the Tesla Model X, which were mid-range price and allowed more people to buy into the electric car. The third and final step was to mass produce an affordable electric car that almost anyone could get. This is the Model 3. In the first few days of reservations being live, over 300,000 people put down reservations of $1,000 for their own Model 3. Think about that. If a new phone or a gadget had over 300,000 pre-orders in the first few days, that would be pretty extraordinary, right? Safe to say, if and when those 300,000 cars are delivered, it will be nearly impossible to slow the momentum behind the excitement of this electric car company. And it will be hard to deny the demand for the electric infrastructure for those 300,000 electric vehicles. Fortunately, at the event, Elon Musk said he will be tripling the number of superchargers to keep up with the already insane demand. Point number 2, smart cars are becoming the norm. Now, something I've noticed a lot of people aren't really taking into account is the fact that Tesla will be turning cars into an extension of the many gadgets we already have. Now, if that sounds a little weird, let me explain. Before, we would never have to worry about getting a software update for our car. We would take it in for tune-ups, oil changes, and fixing the other 1,000 things that can go wrong with a conventional engine. But much like the first iPhone got people used to having the internet in their pocket, Tesla with the Model 3 will be able to get people used to a new generation of smart cars. Sure, cars today have screens and some of them you can start from your phone, but even the biggest skeptics in the world have to admit Tesla is built on a new foundation of technology for cars. Software updates, supercharging, different driving modes like Ludicrous, and of course, autopilot. Which brings me to my last point. The self-driving future is closer than ever. Ever since autopilot was sent out to Tesla drivers back in 2015, the countdown is on for when cars will go fully autonomous. Now, that countdown is looking to end in the next few years. At the Model 3 launch event, Elon Musk made it clear that the Model 3 will have the hardware not just for the current version of autopilot, but will also have the hardware to be able to drive itself entirely. Now that Tesla will have this huge influx of Tesla users, Elon Musk will now have a much larger platform of people to work with when developing self-driving cars and self-driving software. And even putting aside the crazy number of people who have already bought into the self-driving hardware and software, Elon Musk has said that we are only 2 years away from the point of napping in our self-driving cars. By the end of 2017, Tesla plans on sending a Tesla from New York to Los Angeles with no human input. And by 2019, they plan on flipping the switch on fully autonomous Teslas by 2019. And just like all the additional tech in Tesla cars, people will begin to get used to it, and they will eventually let go when it comes to manually driving their cars. Now, in the past, I've made points about how incredible self-driving cars will be once they reach the masses, but the Model 3 is going to help make that a reality. With all these people having access to cars that have the hardware to be fully autonomous from every standard, including technical, practical, and even legal, the more people that have self-driving cars, the more things will have to change in favor of self-driving cars. Cities will have to be rebuilt, highways will have to change, and laws will have to be written to accommodate this kind of change. Over the next year and a half, the Tesla Model 3 will change the landscape of automobiles forever. We will never go back to a time where gasoline cars are the up-and-coming technology. People will embrace having a car that's as smart as their computer. And I will say it again to make sure it's on the record. The Tesla Model 3 is going to be the car that will not only make the final push for fully autonomous driving, but it will be the car that will lead us to the future where nobody will manually drive a car ever again. And all of that is a future I am very excited to invest in. Now, if only I had $35,000.